hello. How's it going, people? Welcome to the stream. Welcome. It is June, the 26th of June. Hope everyone's had a fantastic day. Everyone's feeling fantastically well. And I'm not gonna lie, it is weird. It is weird being an Arsenal fan these days because we are making signings, which is technically quite fantastic. Let's be real. At the same time, let's be real. It's not the ones you would actually imagine Arsenal to make. So at the end of the day, you are just sitting here looking at the signings and thinking, well, what the hell are we doing here, dude? Like, seriously, that's what I'm sitting here and thinking. Obviously, we're going to talk about all that. We're going to talk about the Mosquera thing. We're going to talk about Skelly. We're going to talk about some bits and bobs here or there. And of course, we're also going to talk about Eze because recently he has also resurfaced, let's just put it that way, on the radar of Arsenal. So we're going to talk about all that. We're going to see how that is going to go and everything. So if you're excited for the stream, smash the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new around here, aiming to hit that 1K before the Premier League season kicks off in 25-26 in August. And yeah, leave your thoughts down in the live chat. Let me know how you feel regarding Arsenal, regarding the transfers, regarding transfers in general. It doesn't matter. You are an Arsenal fan, Newcastle fans, United fan, Spurs fan, whatever. Let me know how you feel about the transfer window so far, how your club is doing, and all that good stuff. Big up, Gavin. Hope you're doing well today, my guy. Hope you're feeling well. Hope this day has treated you also very, very nicely. There are no issues. Let's just put it that way. No problems, no nothing. But yeah, what we're going to do right now is actually we're going to tackle some news regarding Arsenal, and those are a bit of a worrying ones. I'm not gonna lie, a bit of a worrying ones. From one hand, on the other hand, they are quite positive, if you ask me. Let's be real, because we actually are making deals. We have made some good deals. I'm not gonna lie, and the best deal you could arguably we have made so far is a contract extension, not a new signing. It's actually a contract extension, ironically enough. And here we are talking about specifically, of course, our own Miles Lewis Skelly. Who else if not him? We are talking about Miles Lewis Skelly because it's officially confirmed that Miles Lewis Skelly has signed a new deal at Arsenal, long-term deal, till 2030. So for 5 more years, which is quite fantastic if you're an Arsenal fan, because he's one of those players that looks like he's going to have a very, very promising future if he can avoid injuries. Whether that bright future is going to be at left back or in midfield remains to be seen, because we don't know what's going to happen in the future. Let's be real. The way Arteta sees him most likely is at left back with inverting and everything, ironically enough, and unfortunately enough, let's be real. At the same time, maybe when a new manager comes in, maybe he will see him in the midfield. So time only will tell. He's young, he's 18, so he definitely has time to develop, to discover his ways, what is best for him. He can still experiment. For the under-21s, he was a midfielder. He had a very bright season. He stepped up when nobody else had a chance, let's be real. And he made the position his own. He actually had a fantastic season, let's be real. For a player who is not an actual left back, playing the way he played, clamping up certain players, driving the ball, passing, going forward and also backwards, it was actually quite impressive, if you ask me. Of course, there were some rash decisions. He will get found out at some points, and he already got found out last season. With the red cards, with sometimes he got cooked and everything. But it is what it is. It kind of comes with the territory. And as I said, given the fact that he hasn't played at left back whatsoever, and he plays number 8 or number 6 for under-21s, it's actually impressive. It's very, very, very impressive. And another thing that's very impressive compared to, for example, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, also Joe Willock to some extent, they had a chance to solidify their place at Arsenal as well, at least at the time, especially for Ainsley Maitland-Niles, who was played as a right back, right wing back, and he basically was begging to be played in midfield. He didn't want to see that right wing back spot whatsoever. And he was begging for that. He got put in the midfield and he got obviously stunk up the place and he was let go at the end of his contract. So there's nothing new. But Miles Lewis Skelly has had none of that. He hasn't complained. He hasn't moaned. He's doing his thing. He is very humble. He has head on his shoulders. He's doing the right things. And so far, actually, he's been one of the bright spots in all this mess that has been Arsenal over the last few years. let's be real, he has been one of the bright spots in my opinion. Let me know how you feel about the Miles Lewis Skelly new contract. Interestingly enough as well, Andrea Berta is there, no Mikel Arteta. Well, so make that as you will. Conspiracy theories can begin and all this stuff. So also you can figure out that. Big up, Mike. Hope you're doing well today, my guy. So you can also go from there. Figure that one out. But obviously, re-signing Miles Lewis Skelly, extending his deal with Real Madrid, also looming on the horizon. They also were interested, let's just put it that way, in the deal. It is actually quite impressive to some extent that Arsenal actually have managed to secure one of the jobs for Arsenal in general, one of the main guys, because he is the future. Let's be real, he's the future. The only question remains midfield or left back, as I said before. Another thing that got announced today is this one. Not sure how everyone feels about that one, but Kepa Arrizabalaga, remember that one guy? Kepa Balenciaga at Arsenal and all that stuff. He has completed his medicals, according to Sky Sports, and is expected to be announced by the club within the next 24 to 48 hours. So basically tomorrow or Saturday, it looks like he will be announced as officially as an Arsenal player. Now, what his role is going to entail, I have no idea. I'm not gonna lie, I have literally zero ideas what his role is gonna hold at Arsenal. What he's gonna do at Arsenal. Because we had Neto as the backup goalkeeper. He played literally, like, it feels like a handful of games. And maybe, obviously, he would have played more if he wasn't cup side in Carabao Cup and everything. But overall, like, when is he going to play? That for me still remains the biggest question, because we all know that Arteta loves to play his main guy at the moment, who is David Raya, obviously, and he plays every single game from bell to bell, pretty much, and he gets a rest very, very, very rarely. Let's just put it that way, and that's just putting it mildly, right? So the question for me still remains: what we gonna do with him? What is he going to do at Arsenal? That for me is the big thing. Carabao Cup, FA Cup, maybe some lesser games, in Premier League, maybe a game in Champions League when it's all done and dusted, decided maybe in league group stage. I don't know. Like, seriously, I don't know. The only thing is he's not cup side, so maybe he obviously is gonna get more games than Norberto Neto. Norbit Neto he's gonna get more games than that. Big up AJ, hope you're doing well today, my guy. Right, serious question. Serious questions. Is Kepa good enough for us to win the League Cup and FA Cup? Because honestly, I don't know. And that for me is the biggest question as well. I get it that he's gonna play FA Cups and Carabao Cups. But is he going to play throughout the full cup? Or is he going to play, let's just say, till semifinals, and then David Raya goes in the goal? Is he going to play till the finals, and then David Raya is going to go in the goal? Because that, for me, is still the biggest question. Arsene Wenger used to rotate like no tomorrow when we played in the Cups. He played with his youth players, backup players, and everything, and we still got to finals. We still got to semifinals, and he wasn't afraid of that. The thing is, we cannot even get to a final with our main team. That is the biggest issue here. That is the biggest issue here. Big BBK, hope your movements and everything is going well. ACL recovery is doing well. Hope you managed to move houses also very nicely, and everything. Hope all went well in that regard today as well. Big up everyone, and yeah, he'll probably play the whole cup contest. Most likely, most likely that would be the logical solution. Let's just put it that way. That actually would be the logical solution regarding Kepa, because if you are playing the guy and once it gets to the proper crunch time and he doesn't play, like, what the hell is he gonna do at Arsenal in general? Might as well then in the smaller games put in Porter, Setford, Nygaard, Hine, anyone in goal, and just roll with the flow, Rojas maybe even, and then just go from there. Like, that for me is the big thing. He has to play the full competition, doesn't he? Now, the biggest question for me on this is, though, how will Mikel Arteta decide this? How will Mikel Arteta decide this? Because imagine he has a game, let's just say cup game, right? And he has a phenomenal performance. Is he going to play the next game or not? Because one of the biggest things, at least from what I can gather about goalkeepers, well, from what I've seen from experience, if the goalkeeper is hot, you keep him in the goal. Obviously, it's a bit different from hockey and everything like that. But if goalkeeper is playing well, you don't want to disrupt his rhythm. And it's going to come from both sides. If Fry is playing well in the Premier League, all of a sudden there is a cup game. You put Kepa in goal. He has a good game. What you're going to do next? Because yes, he is Chelsea's fourth choice goalkeeper at the moment. What it feels like behind Petkovic, Jorgensen, and Sanchez, right? And they're letting him go for 5 million, sorry. And that's why I call him Kepa Balenciaga, because he was the most expensive goalkeeper in the world when they signed him. But overall, like, for me, that is the biggest question. How is he going to do this? Because if Kepa actually does some proper things in goal, right? Sounds preposterous to some extent, looking at him, how he has played for certain teams. But let's be real. Our defense is actually very solid. We many times don't allow to have that many shots on our own goal in general. And if he can deal with what he is facing, like, could there be an argument that he also plays some games in Premier League? Maybe some games in Champions League, maybe not against big teams, but against, like, let's just say we get, for example, I don't even know who we could get. Let's just say we get Sturm Graz in the league, in the Champions League, right? Will we play him? Or what we going to do? Like, that for me is the big question. That for me is the biggest question. Can we get the £5 million back when we sell Karl Hein? Because that definitely happens this summer. That could happen. The Karl Heinz situation also is a big mystery for me, because our goalkeeper situation is very, I don't want to say screwed up at Arsenal, but it's very, very weird, because we have some promising goalkeepers in under 16s and under 18s. Then when you go to under 21s, we have about 4 goalkeepers, if I'm not mistaken, right? And then you have the main team where we don't have goalkeepers. Like, that is the biggest thing. We have Rayo, then we have Hein, now we have Kepa and everything. And what's going to happen with Hein? Because we must sell him. His contract also runs out at some point. His contract runs out next summer. His contract runs out next summer. Yeah. Karl Heinz's contract expires on June 30th, 2026. So in a year, his contract disappears. He's run out of contract. So what are we going to do? We're going to sell him right now. We're going to let go for free in the summer. Like, what will Arsenal do? Because there is this lots of promises from Edu and Arteta and all these guys. We are not going to players run down their contracts and everything. We are not going to let them go for free anymore. That was one of the biggest issues. And we fast forward a few years and we are still in the same boat. So ultimately, the stuff they said last year, year before, and all this stuff was still a lie. Ultimately, it is still a lie. So I don't know. I genuinely don't know what's going to happen regarding that, regarding Karl Hein and everything, because for me, it is a bit of a mystery. It is a bit of a mystery. So bear with me on that. Let's see what gives and what's happening and all this stuff. So we'll see. We genuinely will see. And genuinely, because at the moment, I'm a bit stumped. Let's just put it that way. I am a bit stumped, to say the least. Being backup to Petkovic and Sanchez, nasty work still. And Jorgensen. Don't forget the Danish goalkeeper they signed from Villarreal, Jorgensen. He's a backup to the backup for the backup that is the backup, basically. And he went out on loan. We just signed, technically, Chelsea's fourth choice goalkeeper as our number 2. Make that make sense. Because if we look at it from that perspective, it's one of the most preposterous things that you can do. That's like genuinely Arsenal. Oh, we need, for example, a Saka backup. And we go and sign, let's just say, I don't know, Villarreal's 5th choice left winger. Just because we need a body there. Because let's be real, Setford will keep the number 3 role. Most likely, yeah. Tommy Setford is going to keep the number 3 role. He already plays for England and everything. So, yeah, that is the case. Big up at Yeri. I assume it's the same question as always. Newcastle should spend 160 million. Trafford, Elanga, João Pedro. Yeah, it looks like Newcastle are going to spend that from the recent reports. Elanga, Trafford, Pedro, and there was somebody else. They're looking at somebody else. I don't remember who, but yeah. My biggest fear is Skelly is the next Ashley Cole, leaves at 24 to win everything. To be honest, if he leaves at 24, it's 6 years. So we have time. You would say we have time. In 6 years, Skelly is going to be 24. So we have time to basically try him as a left back, sack Arteta, get in a proper manager, and try him in the midfield as well. And if that new manager proves that he can win stuff, then actually it's gonna be amazing. Because Miles Lewis Skelly, right? He said himself in the interview. Miles Lewis Skelly, where is it? I'm just gonna share the screen in a second. What Miles Lewis Skelly said in the interview, right? He actually said some stuff that is very worrying if you are an Arsenal fan, right? That is very, very worrying if you are an Arsenal fan. I want a legacy. 18-year-old told us to putting pen to the paper on his new deal. I want to win everything there is to win in the game. So technically, if you play for Arsenal, Carabao Cup, FA Cup, Premier League, Champions League, UEFA Super Cup, Club World Cup, and with England to win Euros, Nations League, and World Cup. So technically, he wants to win 9 trophies. If you include Ballon d'Or and crap like that, that's 10 or 11 trophies, right? And in individual achievements. Like, if we take away, for example, Ballon d'Ors and all this stuff, that is 9 trophies, right? Can he win all those 9 trophies? I respect the ambition, but England are shit, let's be real. They will be one of the favorites, but they will ball it again somehow, most likely. So that is not going to work. But he wants to win everything. He wants to win trophies on the biggest stages. He wants to win Premier League. He wants to win Champions League, World Cups, Euros, everything. Whilst being a person that's always learning and stays grounded, which is so important, he is, to be honest, he's staying grounded. But the fact that he's saying he wants to win trophies on the biggest stages is a big worry for Arsenal. Because in recent years, when we have had the chance to win one of the biggest trophies, and i.e. in this regard, it's been Premier League, you could argue Champions League in the semifinals, but let's not talk about that. At the moment, we have crumbled. We have screwed it all up. We always have this tendency when we are this close from greatness, arguably, we always shoot ourselves in the foot somehow. We have done it under Arteta about countless times, let's be real. We did it under Emery. We did it under Arsene Wenger insane amount of times. So it's the same story, different toilet at the end of the day. Different year, different manager. Like same club, different manager, and nothing has changed. Like that, for me, is the biggest, big issue in that regard. I would much rather Miles Lewis Skelly at left 8, but for now, must keep it left back. Yeah, that for me is the biggest thing. Miles Lewis Skelly, I think, I could be very wrong with this, but at least the way I see this is, Miles Lewis Skelly is going to be a left back at Arsenal until Mikel Arteta goes. That's at least how I see it. He might play an odd game here or there as a midfielder, but to be a consistent midfielder, a starter in the midfield, until Mikel Arteta goes, I don't see him playing there. That's at least how I see it. Like, for me, he's better than Merino. Let's be real. He's better than some other players. But ultimately, I don't see him starting in the midfield until Arteta goes. I read the fact that he wants a legacy at just 18 years old. Exactly. He's already telling you now that he has ambition. He has ambitions. He has goals in his life as a footballer. Footballer's career in general, no matter how you want to say this, is very short. It's literally, if you're lucky, right? If you're genuinely lucky, on average from 18 to 32, 33. That's about 15, 16 years at best. Most players get about 10 to 12. Most players in that gap. Like one wrong tackle, bang, his career is over. That also can happen. So at the moment, like, it's a very, very small time frame for him to do things. And at the moment, looking at Arsenal, it doesn't feel like the best place for him to do it. That is the biggest issue at the moment. Big up Hyper Protagonist, hope you're doing well. Sorobo, what on earth do we do when Rice gets injured next season? Well, we have signed Norgard now, haven't we? We're going to play Norgard. No, Merino. Merino is going to play left 8. Or Kai Havertz is going to play the left 8. Like, seriously. as it's been said, Kai Havertz is not going to get dropped. So either he's going to be up front on the left wing, number 10, right wing, double striker, whatever, or he's going to be an 8. And if he plays as that left 8 once again, it is just another reason to sack Mikel Arteta, because it will just prove that he has not learned from previous experiences. Because that experiment when he just signed Havertz and played him as a midfielder, that definitely went well, didn't it? That definitely went well. Norgard get the Arsenal number 5 is a joke. Yeah, he gets Partey's number. At least he's not number 4 in Patrick Vieira and everything. At least that, but hey, it is what it is. Anyways, let's move on from Miles Lewis Skelly. Let's talk about something different. Today, Arsenal shocked the world. Literally shocked the world by doing this. And obviously, if you know me, you know that I'm being sarcastically ironic about this, right? Arsenal did this. New merch has dropped at Emirates. New merch, the specific USA pack. USA pack has dropped at Arsenal. Anyone getting any of this? Anyone getting this new merch? Anyone in the chat is getting this new merch? Let's see. Adidas US shirt, like a baseball shirt, it looks like a bit, I'm not gonna lie. £70. Hoodie, £75. Another hoodie, £60. What else is here? A t-shirt, £38 for a t-shirt. Holy crap. £38 for a goddamn t-shirt. Is it made out of gold? Like, seriously. Arsenal Adidas US pants, £60. A cap, £23. And of course, the shorts. How can you be without the shorts? £38. 7 products only on the market, which is quite nuts, I'm not gonna lie. Only 7 products on the market. See, already, triple XL, double XL has been sold out. Already. Triple XL and double XL has been sold out in the shirts. In the hoodies, still all available. Interesting. Where's another shirt? These are still available. Shorts still available. While you have time, guys, go and get it. Oh, you cannot even buy the cap. See? You cannot buy the cap. It's only add to wish list. Oh my goodness. Or add to bag, maybe. Oh, nope. Move it. Remove it. Fuck's sake. No, you can buy it. Never mind. I'm a dumbass. Like, I'm surprised Merino is not modeling these shirts. But double XL and triple XL baseball shirts have sold out. See, bestseller, fire emoji and everything. Bestseller, you know. Wow. So nothing special. I'm not gonna lie, this letter A and this Adidas mark looks like it's being glued on. Not even sewn on, it's being glued on. Like, what the hell are we doing here? Seriously. What is Arsenal doing? Big up Marlon, 5 that match. Not for me, not the new merch. Yeah, new merch dropped today in the morning. Nobody's getting that. I'm kind of shocked. No, I'm not. Let's be real. Ain't nobody give a F about where. Exactly. That's the biggest thing. Arsenal dropped this match, right? Where is that? Arsenal dropped this match, right? Let's look at the comments on that tweet where they dropped the match, right? Let's do that, because this could be kind of fun if people actually. Let's see how many brain cells do people have. Do they want merch or do they want strikers? I guarantee my wife see that and will buy it for me. Winds me up every time. Don't show it. Disable the cables, lock off. You know what you can do? You could go on her phone. I know it's kind of bad, but open her web browser and go on settings and just blacklist Arsenal website. You could do that, so she doesn't have access to it. So you will never get it unless you have in USA specific Arsenal merch shop. That is a different story then. You kind of could do that. The merch money bear get us Victor Gyökeres and Rodrigo. Exactly, get us both. CDM, goalkeeper, and now a center back. We're going to talk about him in a second. Anyways, let's see what people say in the comments under the new merch drop. Our new Arsenal x Adidas US pack. US pack. Let's go. Sign a striker. Big up Saka Jr. Sign a striker. Is that Mr. Benjamin Sesko or not? Yeah, he looks like Sesko, I'm not gonna lie. Just saying. Clean. I want one. Looks like he's ready to throw a pitch at Yankee Stadium. Oh my goodness gracious. This looks gross. Facts. Cool. What he wanna say in this post? Looks good. More merch than Silverware / transfers year after year. Same shite. Big up to the person who said that. Big up to Kaikom. Get you some players you're letting party leave without good replacement. Big up David. First pick looks like someone. Oh my goodness gracious. Howdy Arsenal fans. We all love, blah blah blah. Thought this was Sesko. Oh my goodness gracious. Announce a signing. Is this a club or a boutique? Pretty spot on comment. I'm not gonna lie. What people are saying on this. Now online clothes vendor. Big up. Sign a striker. How about you get a striker? Now our new signing be this. Arsenal Fashion Club dropping more clothes than there's days in a month. Not gonna lie, people are waking up to this. Drop new striker too. Sign a striker, not buying anything until that happens. Why people think he is Sesko? Why? Very smooth. Stop releasing match. I kind of agree with that. I'm not gonna lie. I thought this was our new player. Sign a striker. Arsenal Fashion Club. More designs than players. Spend some money on a striker, maybe then I'll spend mine. See, people are waking up to this. People actually are waking up to this BS. People are saying, sign me a striker, sign me a player, and everything. That's a good sign. I'm not gonna lie. That is a good sign. Just saying. A 6 can be playing a striker. Can. Merino plays there. Bro does not like Mr. Outside the Box God. Yeah, it is what it is. Sesko isn't blonde. Well, he got... Wait. I'm not gonna lie. Agree to disagree. Seriously, agree to disagree. Because he has had blonde hair. Just seriously. Agree to disagree to this one. It depends if he dyes his hair or not. He has been blonde before. See, he has a bit of a blonde in there and everything. So technically, he is a blonde if you kind of look at it. He can also dye the hair, so it kind of is. He kind of is, but let's be real, he's not. Like, just saying it as it is. Well, I take that. Like, he tends to dye his hair a lot, I'm not gonna lie. He tends to dye his hair a lot. Sesko is another fashion model and everything. I don't want to talk about Norgard. I'm sorry, guys. I really don't want to talk about Norgard. Like, serious talk. Thomas Party, crucially, however, it's understood Mikel Arteta identify. Oh, yeah, this one. If anyone had any suspicions whether Christian Norgard is Arteta player or, well, Andrea Berta player, right? Here's your answer. BBC understands. Good that they understand something. Otherwise, they sound like dumbasses. Agume featured prominently on Arsenal's list of potential targets to replace Partey. Crucially, however, it is understood Mikel Arteta identified Christian Norgard because he preferred a Premier League ready player. I know I'm one of those people who is talking a lot about the fact that Arsenal don't sign Premier League proven players enough. Or at all under Mikel Arteta, pretty much, excluding one or two here or there, right? But let's be real, nobody had Christian Norgard on their list. Nobody had Christian Norgard on their list. Let's not kid ourselves. If you said to me exactly a month ago that by June 26th, Arsenal will have signed Kepa, Zubimendi, Norgard, and Mosquera potentially, I would genuinely tell you you're crazy. I would call 911 and they would send you to the asylum, Arkham Asylum and everything. But now here is the reality. We are 1 month into the transfer window pretty much, and we have signed Zubimendi, by the looks of things, Kepa, Norgard, and Mosquera could be on his way here as well. And to add on top of that, Premier League proven players. How about you sign actually like Baleba, Wharton, and players like that actually has some potential. Not like you're going to get Norgard, sign a 2-year deal, and he's going to go for free once again. We're going to lose 15 million just by buying him, and then extra about 5-10 million over 2 years in wages. So this player is going to cost us about 25 million. Like, make it make sense. He has no resale value. We could have sold Party last summer for some value. Calafiori was Premier League proven. Where? He wasn't Premier League proven. Exactly, Calafiori. Merino. Exactly, none of them have been Premier League proven. Like, that is the biggest thing. Norgard probably plays as a right back. Norgard is going to play center back, right back, left back, goalkeeper if needed. He's 31, exactly. He is 31. Yeah, Fabio Vieira. Who else is there? We have signed loads of those, to be honest. Arteta is a walking contradiction, I swear. Yeah, he is. He has openly admitted himself that he gets the final say on the signings, pretty much. And Top Gunners still say, no, it's all on Andrea Berta. It's all on Edu. It's all on the board. It's not. Let's be real. It is not. And here it says itself, for all the morons that cannot read, Mikel Arteta identified Norgard. It's Mikel Arteta's decision. It's his player. He's signing his wish. He wants him. Shove it. At the end of the day. Adam Wharton is right here. Come on. Exactly. Exactly. Like, that is the nuts part. That is the nuts part. We want this, we want that, and at the end of the day, we get nada. We genuinely get nada. Anyhow, on to new deals. Arsenal are about to sign a player. Yes, we are about to sign a player. And probably, unless you watch La Liga, you have never goddamn heard about him in your life. Arsenal are in active talks to sign Christian. Another Christian, by the way. Another Christian. We have signed Christian Norgard. Here goes another Christian. So we will have 3 Gabis, 3 Gabriels, 2 Mikels. If we sign Sesko, we will have 2 Benjamins. And potentially, if we sign Mosquera, we will have 2 Christians as well. Norgard and Mosquera, by the way. Yeehaw. Anyways, Arsenal are in active talks to sign Christian Mosquera as new center back, while initial negotiations already ongoing. He's among top players for center back position. Talks ongoing with Valencia on the player side. However, it doesn't stop there. There are some extra news, extra reports that actually looks like could make this deal actually happen, because Fabrizio Romano doubled down on this one by saying this. More on Christian Mosquera and Arsenal, right? Understand Spanish defender has already given his green light to the move. Mosquera keen on joining Arsenal. The club has already explained the project. More on talks to follow soon. He's available for around 17 to 20 million pounds. 20 years old, last year of his contract, and he actually is a very, very good player. He has big upsides to sign. It all basically, looking at him when he plays for Valencia, he actually is very decent. I'm not gonna lie. The thing about him is, though, to become Arsenal material, he will need some coaching. And for me, that is the biggest issue, because Mikel Arteta doesn't know how to coach a player. That for me is the biggest issue. Yeah, Mosquera. I'm telling you, if you don't watch La Liga on consistent basis, you will not know him. I honestly have never heard of Christian. However, Anderson's right there. Yeah, true. About watch out, might bite us in your house room. I don't have mosquitoes, and if I do, I give them one big jab, uppercut, and all this stuff, and they are out. Or a drop kick, depends. Saliba replacement long term, but will become as good as Saliba. That is the biggest question. But from all and everything I have read about him, I have watched him play for Valencia. I would say he actually has the potential. He has the ability. Everything just solely depends whether he can basically adapt and he can grow. Because overall, he's actually a very, very good player, in my opinion. There is definitely reasons to sign him, especially if it's only for 20 odd million. I'm not gonna lie. For 20 million, if that is the case, I would actually take a punt on that. He's also 6'3", if I'm not mistaken, so he will fit into long throws, into everything, right? Into corners. He won the Olympics as well with Spain. Last year played pretty much every single game for Valencia. 37 out of 38 games. Scored a goal and everything. He can play a left center back, right center back, and he can play a right back. Here we go. He can play as a right back. You know what that means, boys? We have another right back on our hands. So, woohoo! Anyone's happy, excited, over the moon? Be patient, be excited, and everything. Everyone's happy with this crap. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Mosquera is a decent one. He has come from Valencia Academy all through the years, and he actually is a very decent player, in my opinion. That's just my assessment. I'm not too annoyed with this signing than anything. Actually, I'm gonna tell you this right now. He has played 82 games in La Liga, by the way. He has played 82 games in La Liga, 1 goal, 9 yellows, all 6.7 thousand minutes in La Liga he has played. He has played quite insane amount of games, if you ask me. In that regard, 36 games last year. His injury record for a young player, ironically enough, is not bad. Because he hasn't been injured at all. That is also another thing I would like to add to this. So for me, that is the biggest thing. The issue with this is, though, he can play right back, which is a big issue for me instantly, because you just know Mikel Arteta is itching to play him as a right back. He already sees this, he already is looking at it, and he already is about to go down 100%. Yeah, long-term Saliba replacement. And for 17, 18 million, not too bad. 4 signings, non-strikers. Exactly. That is the biggest issue for me. We are signing all these players, and the biggest reasons why, for example, I am annoyed, for example, with Norgard, is the fact that Partey got let go. Because if we kept Partey, signed Zubimendi, and signed Norgard, I would be cool, first of all. Second of all, we have signed 4 defensive players. 2 sixes, center back potentially, and a goalkeeper. Right? Which means no forwards whatsoever. That for me is the big issue. At this point, just cancel the next season. Liverpool fan on City and Chelsea. To be honest, Liverpool are looking at their own problems. Apparently, Konate has announced that he's not going to extend his contract. He's going to run it down. Nations excitement. Yeah, that is the thing. We need a striker. Another right back, you say. Yep. We're going to talk about Hato in a second. We're going to talk about Jorel Hato in a second. By the way, have you heard this riddle? This will be a riddle for all of you. This is the riddle. Can anyone answer me this riddle? Christian Mosquera had the best ground duel win rate, 70.5% in La Liga last season, of players to contest 100-plus duels. Have we heard anything similar about any other Arsenal target over the previous years? Question for you all, because I have the answer in my mind already. And if you know definitely. You definitely know. You know that already, if you ask me. Because We are talking about Mikel Merino here. Mikel Merino, best tackling rate. Mikel Merino, best tackling rate in Europe or in top 5 leagues or whatever it was last summer when we signed him. And we all saw how that went. Now we are signing the best ground duel winner in La Liga who has had over 100 plus ground duels. Like that sounds very familiar, and we all know how that went. Remember those days? Maybe Mustafi as well, but I'm talking more about Merino in this regard. Mikel Merino. Yeah, Mikel, number 9 Merino. Basically, Mikel Ronaldo. That's what you can call him at this stage, pretty much. Mikel Ronaldo. Mikel Nazario. Anyhow, here we go. This is specifically for, I think it was Marlon who mentioned Jorel Hato to Arsenal. This is specifically for you. This is for you about Jorel Hato. Arsenal are interested in Jorel Hato and everything, but at this stage, any deal would likely depend on the futures of Zinchenko and Jakub Kivior, plus Ajax potential asking price. That at least is the current rumors regarding Jorel Hato. And for us to sign him, it means that we need to sell one of the left backs. Or both even. Who knows? Because Jorel Hato can play left back and center back. So can also Kivior, for example. Also Zinchenko, left back. I hate that we have him as a left back. Basically, he has that. Basically, in my eyes, for Zinchenko, that left back position is a tramp stamp. Because that puts him in such a bad limelight. Because when he plays in midfield, he's actually good. Let's be real. He is good as a 10, as an 8. He's actually very decent. The issue is Arteta persists on playing him as a left back, which basically pisses off every single Arsenal fan in the world. That is the biggest issue for me. That is the biggest issue for me. Man, this guy, Zinchenko with Hato, 20 million done. Hato will be more than 20. Hato is going to be about, I would assume, 35, something like that. In done and me and striker come getting left wing. Like, I don't know what's going on at Arsenal ultimately. But the biggest thing is, there are rumors that in July 1st, the real transfer business begins for Arsenal. Whether you believe it or not, we will have to wait and see ultimately, right? Whether you believe it, whether it's going to happen or not, you will have to wait and see. But for us to wait till July 1st to actually sign someone big, it's actually quite embarrassing to say the least, in my opinion. At least that's how I see it. That's the way I see it. That's how I feel about it. So it's kind of annoying, in that department. Now, next thing we have to talk about here is the big one. It is the big one. Where is it? I will find you this, because this is quite interesting to say the least. We're gonna talk a bit about Eberechi Eze. Let's be real. Who doesn't want Eze at Arsenal? Serious talk. Who does not want Eze at Arsenal? Because if you don't want Eze at Arsenal, I'm not so sure what you actually want from Arsenal to do. Yeah, no attackers, only defenders, midfielders, goalkeepers. Mikel Arteta, at his disposal, over his tenure at Arsenal, has had 10 goalkeepers and about 8 or 7 left backs. That's 17 players overall. That is kind of wild, if you ask me. I'm not gonna lie. As I can't play Arteta. Under Arteta, I get it. You big up Raviel, but I think you mean under Arteta. I totally get it. I get it. Out hiring as our attacks. The big thing is, according to Team News and Tickets, we all know this guy. You cannot trust him as far as you can throw him, because I'm still waiting for the mystery German, and he still hasn't arrived to this day, by the way. Anyways, Arsenal have reached a personal terms agreement with Eze. Don't trust it one single bit, because this guy's unreliable. I'm putting this up in general, just because we are talking about Eberechi Eze here. And to add on top of that, partially something there is true. And what I talk about, which about this report is true, is the fact that Crystal Palace wants a deal structured in installments and plus 8 million in add-ons. That was reported by countless sources about 4 or 5 days ago, or even 7, about a week ago, basically, about a week ago, and everything, right? Basically, that can we definitely talk about, right? So ultimately, for me, the way I see this is, what's its face? Um, Crystal Palace want installments, 3 times 20 plus 8 in add-ons. For Arsenal, that should be something they get all over it in a heartbeat, to say the least. Arsenal love an installment. We have seen this from previous deals. When Arsenal hear a word installment, it's like the sea splits before Moses. It's like music to their ears. It's like their steak cooked to perfect temperature, juicy, succulent, perfectly seasoned. No BS, nothing overcooked, nothing overdone, just plain perfect. As soon as they hear the word installment, it's like they have a cold beer on a super hot day. It's for them, it is Shangri-La. Let's be real. So we should be all over this. However, there is a big counter argument which comes more from my own point of view. The way I see this happening is the thing. If we sign Eze, right, knowing Arsenal, we are not signing Rodrigo. I don't think Rodrigo is going to leave, but if he leaves, Arsenal should be getting him in a heartbeat. The thing is, we are not getting both. And this is the biggest issue for me as an Arsenal fan. We should be able to get all of these players. We should be able to get Rodrigo and Eze and Gyökeres in the same window. We should be able. But we are not, because we are Arsenal. We always screw it up. We do the bare minimum and we absolutely disappear in these situations. For me, we should get Eze and Rodrigo and Gyökeres. But we are not going to do it, will we? For me, that is the biggest issue. Plus, I don't like how in this report it's saying that Berta typically, about Berta, what is said here. I'm not going to get into it, but yeah, that is pissing me off a bit as well. So I guess it is what it is. I'm in the mid like Eze. Eze can't play under Arteta, too much running, injury waiting to happen. Like, for me personally, Eze would be fantastic at Arsenal. The issue is, like, you know how we talk about these players, how they're linked, we could sign, and all this stuff? For me, there is always the asterisk that you have to put by every single signing, every single player we talk about, and that is Mikel Arteta. Because it's not anymore about the fact that whether that player will work at Arsenal, whether he would work at the club. It has now an extra perk, basically basically like a fine print. Let's just put it that way. When you sign for Arsenal, in the fine print, there is a question. Can you play under Mikel Arteta? Do you fit what Mikel Arteta wants? Do you fit into his system? Not will Arteta adjust the system for you to fit in? And that for me is the biggest issue. Because I'm kind of very certain that if we had Inzaghi, Simeone, Xavi, Flick, whoever, this signing would make sense to 1 billion%. When you sign for Mikel Arteta, as I said, there's always that fine print which states, will you be able to basically become a system player or not? Do you want to play football or do you want to become a robot? That's like Morpheus standing in front of Neo. Take the blue pill or the red pill. One allows you to remain a proper footballer, other one makes you into AI robot. Basically, that's what it is. And that is up to the player to decide ultimately. And that is one of the biggest issues at Arsenal currently. Because I kind of starting to believe that one of the reasons why we don't get some of these big players we should be getting is not that we cannot get the deal done. It's more that these players don't want to play under Mikel Arteta. Because for me personally, looking at this and looking at how Rodrigo would fit in at Arsenal, like, I don't see Rodrigo taking any crap from Mikel Arteta. Rodrigo definitely will not give a flying F about light bulbs, win the dog, family, evolving, lemons, blasting You Never Walk Alone on speakers or anything like that. He wants to play, he wants to score goals, he wants to win, and he wants to play football. He doesn't want to play AI system-based crap. And that for me is always the fine print that always when I read a rumor about Arsenal being linked to a player, blah, 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 inside the name, right? Any name. That is one of the first things that comes to my mind. And that for me personally is one of the biggest issues at Arsenal currently. It's the manager. It's that I have this thought process. Oh, Arsenal are linked with Rodrigo. Oh, but will Arteta allow him to play the way he wants to play to allow him to be the best of his abilities? Or will he ruin him? Oh, Arsenal are linked with Gyökeres. Will Arteta allow Gyökeres to play he wants to play? Will Arteta adjust his system to fit Gyökeres? Or will he make Gyökeres to basically ruin his style to basically fit Mikel Arteta's system? Arteta has never coached a striker, so I also have no goddamn idea if we can win, if he can play with him, if he can use a striker. That is one of the most annoying things I face daily. I hate that I have that small voice at the back of my head whenever I read transfer rumors. Link with interested, yeah. Big up Comp 285, big up to you. I think Arteta has spent about 414 million on the midfield. Rice 105, Vieira 35, Odegaard 35, that's 175. Who else he has signed? There are lots of these dumbasses. Partey is 50, that's 225. Zubimendi, that's 51, that's 276. Havertz, that's 65, that's 337, no, 336, sorry. 336. He signed Marino for 38, if I'm not mistaken. That's 369. Then you add into that mix as well. Who else was there? Let me just Norgard. That's 294. No, 284. Sorry, 384 million. And then there is. Well, Zinchenko doesn't count, does he? He's a left back technically, but if you count him as a midfielder, that's already 410. So yeah, he has spent about 420, something like that, with everything. He has spent over 400. He basically has blasted half of the budget on midfield. Yeah, he has spent 860 million, something like that already. 750 plus 50 plus 11 plus 5, well, 15, sorry, plus 5, that's 820. Okay, he has spent 820 million. 420 has gone to midfield. 320 has gone to the defense and goalkeepers. And only like 75 to 80 million has gone only to attack. You see the difference? We have spent on midfield 5 times more than on our attack. We have spent on our defense 4 times more nearly than we have spent on our attack. And that is the reason why we are where we are. No new attackers in 3 years. Same stale, predictable, bullshit crap attack. Nothing new, no new fresh blood, no new fresh ideas. Same shit, different toilet. Same shit, different season. Nothing changes. Yeah, City are beating Juventus. I'm simultaneously following the Club World Cup as well. Juventus at halftime are losing 1-0 to City. Doku scored from 8 Nori's assist. Koopmeiners made it 1-1. And Kalulu scored an own goal. Look at this, by the way. Look at this in a second. Eze is an Arsenal fan. This should have been done years ago. Exactly. To be honest, we should have signed Olise last summer and Eze this summer. If you want the ideal scenario, that would be 68 plus 45. That's 113 million. Basically one Declan Rice. Let's just put it that way. Signing Eze and Olise is one Declan Rice, price-wise. And that makes our team much better, without shadow of a doubt. Yep, but it makes sense, so Arsenal won't do it. Exactly. It's always like that. Zinchenko is a midfielder. That's his actual position. None of the spent on attack, no money for attack. Attack wins matches. Exactly. If you look at the stats, we have spent, as I just said, 4 times less on the attack than defense, and 5 times less on the attack compared to midfield. It is genuinely Peakham's, and here is all of the reason. And the worst part is, if you look at it even, of those 820 million, about 350 to 400 have been wasted on signings like Pablo Mari, like Willian, Fabio Vieira, Marquinhos, and all these guys. Like, it's actually pathetic. Let's just say it as it is. Let's just say it as it is. Anyways, something I wanted to show you. Look at Manchester City's starting 11. Whoop, -1. Look at Manchester City's starting 11 for this game against Juventus. Ederson, Nunez, Diaz, Akanji, Aït-Nouri, Rodri, Silva, Reinders, Doku, Marmoush, and Savinho, right? This is the starting 11 of Man City. And here is the kicker. Look at their bench. Nathan Ake, Oscar Bob, Ryan Cherky, Phil Foden, Ilkay Gundogan, Joshko Guardiol, Erling Haaland, Kusanov, Nico Gonzalez, O'Reilly, Ortega, Stones, and Vittoriz. They have Echeverri out because he has a bit of a health issue, Kovacic because of Achilles, Rico Lewis got a red card, and Sissoko is inactive and everything. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you that Man City on the bench has another starting 11 just sitting there. And that's what it should be. 11 players on the pitch and 11 substitutes that can also start for them games. Because if you can watch Premier League enough, you see that Kusanov can start in Premier League. Haaland can do that. Guardiol can do that. Gundogan, Foden. Cherky will be able to do that. Oscar Bob has done it and will do it. Nathan Ake will do it. Nico Gonzalez is going to do it. Stones, Vittoriz as well. Their starting 11 and bench are actually insane, to say the least. Big up Eras, Mikel music in the building. The Mikel Whisperer, Eras from DC in the house. Anybody can see attack wins matches, not 10, 20 midfielders, defenders, attackers, deadly wingers. Exactly. That is the biggest thing. Not fucking 9, 10 goals a season. That's pathetic, to say the least. Competition in places unlike Arsenal, who have stars and mainly seat-tech options. Exactly. We have starters, and then we have championship-level backup, most of the cases. Or youngsters who have never kicked the ball for Arsenal, and by the looks of things, never will. That is the embarrassing part. But if you look at Man City, only thing that Man City are missing, in my opinion, right now, is a proper right back. If they get Livramento, if they get a proper right back, they are done. They have genuinely sorted everything out. Center back, left back, and Nathan Ake. Oscar Bob, striker, winger. Cherky, number 10, winger. Foden, winger, number 10. Gundogan, number 8. Guardiol, left back, center back. Haaland, striker. Kusanov, center back. Gonzalez, number 6. Technically an 8 in double pivot. Stones, right back, but he's going to go. Vittoriz, a center back. So Echeverri, as an attacker. Grealish, he's going to go. Kovacic, a midfielder. Rico Lewis, a right back. Rico Lewis is the only proper right back. But if they sign another proper right back, they're done. They have squad built to the maximum extent. They don't need much more, do they? The league is theirs. Well, to fight with Liverpool at the moment. Yeah, right back. That's the only thing that they're missing. 12 likes. Big up everyone who has liked, by the way. I don't think I have mentioned today. If you haven't already, please do me a favor. Like and subscribe, people. Like and subscribe. And the last thing we're going to talk about today, which is going to definitely piss you off, I can already guarantee you, because it pisses me off. So if you are an Arsenal fan and everything, and you look at these things, you will see right now to what extent Arsenal fans go to make to prove that Benjamin Sesko is signing for Arsenal. Yeah, Grealish is gone. Grealish is gone from Man City. This is the levels Arsenal fans go to prove and to make it out as Sesko is signing for Arsenal. Benjamin Sesko has started following Arsenal on Instagram. Benjamin Sesko has unfollowed Manchester City on Instagram, making Arsenal the only Premier League side he follows. This is the levels that Arsenal fans, top Gunners, are going to make and to prove that he is going to sign for Arsenal. Seriously, what are we doing here? This fan base is an embarrassment. I'm not gonna lie. Glazing everything that happens. Like, seriously. And it doesn't stop there. I can show you something else. I genuinely will show you something else, which definitely will piss off some more people. I'm not gonna lie, but hey, it is what it is. I'm not about that life, but we're gonna roll with the flow. We all remember, right, that Rafa Leao, right, wore a Thierry Henry shirt, vintage, you could argue, Thierry Henry shirt, right? And Arsenal fans made out that he is going to sign for Arsenal. This is one of the things I also tweeted out yesterday from the Mutant channel. This was the thing. Look at this. Look at this Mutant channel BS that's happening here. Look at this crap. This is the thing. Look. Leao hints at Arsenal move. This was straight after Rafa Leao was seen and put a picture on Instagram with him wearing vintage Arsenal shirt. Leao hints at Arsenal move. Hints at what? By this logic, everyone is hinting at Arsenal move looking at the shirt they wear. That's what I quote tweeted it by, right? So I basically wanted to show you this right now. And you will see why this is funny, right? This is what basically AFTV said, right, with Blobby in charge. This is what I shared today. Marseille midfielder Angel Gomez, right, doing some pre-season training in a Portugal shirt with Deco on the back, right? This is what I quote tweeted with. Must be going to Barcelona then. This is what Top Gunner logic looks like. Oh, player wears that type of shirt, he is going to that club. This is what they're doing. And the worst part is that Arsenal fan base glaze it like no tomorrow. And on top of that, Arsenal social media teams see all this. They genuinely see all that, and they will look at it and say, well, point taken. We actually might go for it. Why not? Why the hell the fuck not? Seriously. I don't know what the fuck. He follows City, Madrid, and he ain't signed for them. Go for Gyökeres. He didn't even respect for us. Gyökeres is also like, he might go to United according to latest reports. Oh, I saw Sesko at Dishu in London. He's coming to. Basically, that's what it is. That's genuinely what it is. If I wear an Arsenal shirt I have in my closet right now, right? Will Arsenal sign me in the next month? Will I become the new mascot, new Gunnerosaurus? I will go scoop, win the dog's poop. I'm 6'3". I fit right in. I'm tall as they are all there. Like, let's be real. I will carry the towels, everything. Pay me 100 bags a week. I will genuinely, I don't know, wash your clothes for a living. Like, I don't care. Like, if you pay me 100 bags a week, he doesn't use it for followers, man. Fuck it, you just exactly. I am more interested in dude. I'm just joking when I was saying, like, it's like being exactly. Eros is a bit, bit of one. Oh, I thought you were turning. No. Eros is not gonna turn. He's a DC United fan. He's used to pain. Don't worry, he's staying with Arsenal. Seriously, he is staying with Arsenal. Just putting it out there. One thing I actually want to know, right? What kind of salary, right, is Miles Skelly going to be on? That for me is the biggest thing. For me, the next question is what kind of salary is going to be Miles Skelly on, because I haven't seen it being reported. Not gonna see it being reported right now. Here we go. According to Team Talk, Manchester United have entered talks for Isak. What? In which universe Isak is going to sign for Man United? He doesn't want to go to that mess. Let's be real. Oh, freaking hell. Oh, thank God you got gone. Have Arsenal have higher standards than Washington Wizards. Have to stick with Arsenal for life. Not gonna lie, doesn't look that way. Wizards have been a rebuild for about like 2 decades now, or something like that. Arsenal have been a rebuild as well since they left Highbury, so it doesn't feel that doesn't feel like something has changed. It's been 21 years. Same thing, like not like seriously, same thing. Nothing has changed in that regard. And what can you do? Like you can watch now CJ McCollum throw bricks every day, to be honest, in NBA and everything. So we'll see how that's gonna go. But yeah, it's actually kind of insane. I read, was it yesterday? I don't remember. Josh Kroenke about talking about potentially, if push comes to shove, he actually is willing to trade Jokic, best player in NBA, arguably. Like, what the hell is that about? Like, it's weird. Why did Kroenke also sacked was it Malone at the time, if I'm not mistaken? But 10 games before NBA playoffs, they sacked their manager and general manager. Like, what the hell is that about? They've been in a rebuild for over 50 years. To be honest, Wizards have had some good times, but not like that. Like Bradley Beal, John Wall was not John. Bradley Beal, John Wall was supposed to be good, but Wall with injuries didn't work out. You got Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce was carrying the team heavily. You had some good players then, but ultimately it also didn't work out. Although you did some good things in playoffs, at least in the first round, but it is a bit different. So trade Jokic, like it's actually nuts. Jokeres, please, no one says I would rather take Moise Keane or I wouldn't take Moise Keane whatsoever at Arsenal. I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't take Moise Keane at Arsenal whatsoever. Seen enough of him at Everton. Sick and tired of him. I don't want that. Arsenal interest in Joe Hutto remains ongoing. Where is the news? Where is the news? Suleimana. Like, there is nothing. Fabrizio is talking all the crap and just going in circles. I'm not gonna lie. So there's nothing new in that regard. So we can chat about random things. Yeah. Listen, we did have some good times in Washington, but never got that final piece to the puzzle. And that is the case ultimately. It's not just actually one puzzle, one piece. Because Wizards do the same thing what Arsenal does all the time. You keep on to players for too long before you let them go, or you get them about 2-3 seasons too late. And same is with the manager. You hold on to the manager way too long than you should be holding on to him. Let's just put it that way, for way too long. And Arsenal does the same thing, so it's familiar pain. It's nothing new. So it's the same thing. It's the same story about Arsenal, same story about Wizards. So it's familiar pain. It's comfortable for you, I guess, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would love Sorloth at Arsenal. I'm not gonna lie. Exactly, that is the case. What's the Kroenkes have shares in the Wizards? Maybe. Although isn't that against the rules? Like, isn't that against the NBA rules that one owner cannot have two teams or shares in two teams? It would be against like the fair play policy and all that crap. Kroenke's out, Board out, Arteta out, Havertz out, Odegaard out, Win the Dog out, everyone out. Like, seriously, get them all out. Send them to, I don't know, wherever. Just get them out. Let's just put it that way. Just get them out. Paul Pogba has signed for Monaco, which is quite interesting. Quite interesting. I'm not gonna lie. Paul Pogba has signed. Okay, I have to share this because Igal, if I speak, I'm in big trouble. I'm seriously. If I speak, I'm in big trouble. I'm not gonna play the video, right? But Look at the caption, what Igal said. No, 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 I'm joking, but their business model very familiar, 100%. Bring in some Arabs. Arabs, Qataris, somebody. Just bring someone in. He got the gift that keeps on giving. Dude, this comment, Christian Norgard defending transitions better than Jorginho and Party. Oh my goodness gracious. Martin Noshogard didn't deserve to wear an Arsenal should do that dude yeah, exactly. Exactly. Contradicts himself. Left, right, and center. He says one thing, and then a few minutes later, in a different stream, wherever he is, he says a completely different thing. Like straight opposite. Let's just put it that way. And so on top of that, based on psychology point of view, if you have studied psychology, you probably know this. It's very easy to be consistent if you're telling the truth. If you start to lie, you at some point you start to slip up. You miss some details. You say something a bit different you said before, and eventually people catch on. So you cannot put on that facade for too long. Let's just say it as it is. And one of the best ways to tell if a person is lying about a certain story, about a certain situation, is this way. You wait till they tell the story and hint to them somehow. You ask some questions, right? But ask them in a way that they start to tell the same story backwards. Because if it is the truth, the person will have no trouble remembering everything that happened, going forwards and backwards of the story. If your mind starts to lie and that mind gets asked to tell the same story just backwards, half of the detail, not about 30% of the details, will be forgotten. Because mind isn't made in such a way that you remember all the lies you tell on the spot. You definitely something you will forget. And that's how half of these top gooners can get caught out all the time. Igal's are like Igal is different. Let's just say it that way, not talking about anything else. Just putting. Breaking news. Brian Buemo is going to have medicals at Manchester United next week. Breaking news. Seriously, that's the breaking news. Brian Buemo is having medicals at Manchester United next week. So it looks like they're going to get Buemo and Mateusz Cunha. Good for them. 15th place, by the way, 15th place. Not gonna lie, both of those signings are better than any signing Arsenal have made this summer window so far. And then you'll have Blobby from AFTV saying that Zubimendi's signing is second best signing after Florian Wirtz in this window. I'm not gonna lie, he's not even top 5. Seriously, he's not even top 5 in my opinion. So it is what it is. So yeah. So with Brian Buemo gone, go and get Jared Bowen now. Could work, but I don't think we're going to get Bowen. 2 reasons. First things first. We got Declan Rice. They will be pissed off how we handle the situation. And Bowen is going to cost about 80, 90 million. So at the best case scenario, at the worst case, we're going to try and we're going to undercut massively. Or if you want a surprise package, Arsenal will try and bid for Mohamed Kudus. At some point, it might happen. Whether it happens or not remains to be seen. But don't forget about that Arsenal actually might bid on Mohamed Kudus, 85 million release clauses, despite the fact that last summer they could have gotten him for 40 million. But that is Arsenal business for you. That is the Arsenal business. That is being called doing the business the Arsenal way. But yeah, I think on that note, I'm going to end today's stream. It's been a blast with you guys. It's been fantastic. It's been fun. Hope you had a great time. If you haven't already, please do me a favor. Like the stream. Subscribe if you're new. See you all tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday. On Friday, we tend to get some good news. Maybe we'll get some proper bids for some bigger players. And I expect maybe someone to be announced as well, potentially tomorrow. Time will tell. Time will show. But for today, I'm going to go. I'm going to relax, chill and everything. Big up everyone. Like and subscribe. Hope you had a great time here. Hope to see you all tomorrow as well. And hopefully something good happens tomorrow. So take care. Stay safe. Have a nice evening. Have a nice Friday. Have a last day of the week tomorrow. and see you very, very soon tomorrow. And by the way, if you haven't already, go check out my TikTok and YouTube short I uploaded a few hours ago. Peace.